Hello everyone, back again, Began here for a nightly rant on what's happening, I think, in the future of the AI space. So, just been coding all day, taking a little break right now, and then I'm gonna go back to coding. I'm coding in Rust all day, and so obviously that taints and colors my opinion on everything because I'm being pounded in the head by a compiler all day, and I think my code is safe and fast and all these cool things. But, I've coded in many other languages. I've coded in Go, I've coded in Python, Ruby, JavaScript back in the day. Done the littlest bit of TypeScript now. Absolutely hate it. Want to look at Zig some, but really, I think what I want to get into is trying to think about what language is actually going to win in the long term. Because right now, we've got Eliza. Eliza's written in TypeScript. Awesome. A lot of TypeScript devs out there. You can do your Eliza work, and then you can go and, do some front-end React stuff. Excellent. I personally hate TypeScript. I mean, it's an evil necessity because of JavaScript being the only thing you can run in the browser, but I think spreading it to everything in the back end is pretty painful. And I think you do see, I have so many friends that were TypeScript people that then, were JavaScript people, fell in love with TypeScript, became TypeScript, advocates, and then, boom, they hit Go, or they hit Haskell, or they hit OCaml, or they hit Rust, and the things that, TypeScript started them on, they kept, being more excited about and pushing and building bigger stuff. And I do think that AI agents, I do not think that the answer is gonna be, in the long term, TypeScript. Python feels slightly more right to me for some reason, maybe because there's this large association between, all the universities are writing Python, so much of the libraries are written in Python. People are, building actual, underlying AI tech in Python. Python is slow and painful right now. Python is very easy for everyone. I think Python is definitely from multiple levels, I think it's easier than TypeScript to get started. However, Python does have other problems, Python package management is just hellish. It's just horrible. And I know there's now a Rust built library, UV, that can fix those things, but I don't know if that's going to be it. But I mean, TypeScript, that ecosystem seems so painful too. Now there's also Mojo. It's a Python variant that's specifically made for AI to be faster. So you get that nice, beautiful syntax of Python. I'm saying beautiful syntax of Python. What am I saying? I like Python 2. Python 3 kind of jumped the shark. Or Python 3.5, that's what it got, jumped the shark. But no, Mojo might be some nice middle ground. I actually have to use it. When I was first looking at it, it wasn't available yet, and whatever. It was promising a lot of crazy things. So really, I want to say about where I think it could go. Now, I would like it to be Rust, just because that's where I'm going right now. Okay, I used to love Go so much. I still love Go. I think if I went back to Go right now, I would be back just fuck Rust. I think I would be doing that. Maybe potentially, we'll see. I mean, there's just so many nice things in Go. But Rust is cooler, okay? It's way cooler. A lot of people are talking Zig now, too. And, Ghosty's written in Zig, and that's pretty exciting. And it seems like it might be, you get that low-level power of Rust. You can obviously make it super fast, but it seems to be maybe slightly less painful. But I haven't done anything in it personally. Go feels like a really solid answer, though, right? Go is one of those things where it is such, I think, an easy language to get a bunch of people working on one code base. We can really eliminate all style questions. Whenever you read code that's in the standard library, or mostly any library, it looks like the same code you're writing. A lot of times in Rust, you dive a level deeper and it's like, oh my god, what the hell are these function signatures? This is so intense. And then, Go, you never have that problem. It's great to, everything looks the same. You know what I mean? Python, that happens too, where you dive a level deeper and things get so abstract, you're like, this isn't the same language I'm writing. So I don't know. I have a feeling that it could go that way, but really it's about what's the community excited about, right? Because if people aren't building on the tech, right now TypeScript's going to win because people are building, or Python and TypeScript are going to win because what people are building on, right? And so if one killer app comes out, it just has whatever. It's so much more stable, so much more fast, so much more this, that. Potentially get some people to convert, but we really need where the devs are going to be. So you got to find libraries and stuff people are excited about. You do see a lot of people who are deeper in the game, right? Not kids who are just, cloning Eliza and trying to deploy an agent real quick to make some quick shitcoin money. They do tend to go to, slightly more performant languages, your Rusts and your Zigs and whatnot as time goes on. So I think we will see more high quality software there. Often, if I see a Python library versus I see a Rust library, a lot of times I'm like, oh, nice, they took the time to do it in Rust. I'm assuming it's going to be better, faster. Now, I write terrible Rust, so that doesn't have to always be true. You can write a bunch of bad Rust. But, man, I don't know. I have to look at, I've got to do a little bit of research of where Go is right now for that. But my kind of initial prediction is I could see Go happening. Python, TypeScript. Python seems to be the real winner. People in, I think, the meme coin space think it's going to be TypeScript because of Eliza. But I think there's other things here to talk about, right? Because there's this whole framework versus library thing. I mean, I've been around. I've been coding for whatever, way too long, 15 years. So I've seen trends come and go. I've seen a million libraries and frameworks and things come and go. And some patterns come and some patterns go. And I think when things are so moving around so fast, right? The space is so chaotic. It's not always the best to be figuring out what is the giant final framework solution. I think sometimes figuring out what are the proper primitives gonna be. Like in Go, no one uses. Well, no, someone does. A lot of people, many people do not use frameworks, right? A web framework for stuff. I built so many. I built in companies in Go, built and sold companies in Go, and we weren't using frameworks, right? But it wasn't like oh no, we're doing it all by hand. It's like you just stitch together all the little libraries out there, and it's so easy, and there's not 1,000 different patterns of doing stuff, and it's just it's obvious to stitch stuff together and put in each of your own pieces you want, versus you see where you adopt a framework and it's, an omakase framework and you have to do it all their way and you're stuck in this one way and you're fighting against their conventions, and then you go to another framework and you learn, oh, wait a minute, I didn't learn anything. I learned the magic fancy words that, work for this framework. I ended up that when I was, a decade ago when I was doing Rails. It's like, I know all this Rails specific knowledge. And then it hit me. I'm like, I'm an expert in Rails, not in Ruby. And then I go to another framework and I'm failing. You know what I mean? See my camera butter. There we go. I look terrible. But, so I do think that's a concept that people need to keep in mind, that it's so new right now, what we're all building, that you don't need to settle on things. And also all the companies are releasing stuff and new APIs, and the ground is shifting underneath us so fast. I think it's not the best idea to be like, let me package it all together in one clean thing, which I do think it's good to do. Someone needs to do it. I'm just saying it's not the thing to invest necessarily, I would say, all of your time. I think it's important work that needs to be done. You need someone out there iterating on a framework over and over again. If you're a developer, though, I think you got to be a little bit careful and make sure that, if you're new to TypeScript or new to coding and then you dive into Eliza, make sure all your knowledge is in Eliza. Keep learning the TypeScript underneath, even though you're like, we have AI can help me with all of this. Because next time you have to move, something else hot comes out that's going to have so many more features, this much more speed, this, that, the other, whatever. You're going to have knowledge that is only domain specific to that framework. So you want to keep yourself a little bit flexible. At the same time, I think we also don't know what the patterns that we all want to use are, right? What are the proper subdivisions? I think that often takes a while when you look at tech coming out. We don't know where we're supposed to divide the line, right? Like even right now, every time I look over at JavaScript, I'm like, what are you guys doing now? Oh, you have database queries in your templates now. Okay, cool. What are you guys doing now? Oh, cool. You put the styling next. Okay, cool. They're always combining. I'm not saying I'm not a keep that separation of concerns, keep everything separate, but you know what I mean? We don't always know the answers. And sometimes co-locating things together is a lot nicer than you think. And then sometimes, whatever, it's good to keep them separate. We don't know. Just keep exploring. I'm going to keep exploring. The last thing I think that's important to, I guess, kind of consider is where are standards going to emerge out of this stuff? Right now, I've already seen a number of people will say, hey, check it out. Here's the open AI API. So then when we release our code, it matches the open AI API. So all you do is you change out your key and what URL you hit, and boom, you've got response from someone different. That's pretty nice, right? For when you're a developer, I do that for a lot of stuff where I'm like, yeah, just change a URL and I'm hitting a new model. Awesome. Love that. How do we decide on that API? Who are the people that decide on that API? Who is the governing body? This is the boringest, worst stuff, but it really can affect you in the long run. So we're just saying that company's the biggest. We're all using them, so we're just going to follow whatever their API is. Okay, that might be the answer. Okay, that really does give one person it does happen. S3 is an example where. Right now, the S3 standard, there's actually a standard. I don't think you need quotes for it. It's actually a standard for them. It is. What makes something codified as a standard? Okay, that's another detour. The point is there's multiple places where you can store objects in buckets and from different companies that follow the same spec and config. So it's what I'm talking about. You're changing domains and API keys. And now that's something that S3 pioneered. It's one of their first AWS services ever. It's holding more data than who knows what, just immense amounts of data, and people have built on top of it. I got to talk to someone who's built off S3, actually. I do know someone. and see if they're happy or mad about the decision. But the point is, the company they figured it out, so they kind of spearheaded what this thing is going to look like. And I guess OpenAI is on the cutting edge of that. They probably, I don't think I need to say probably. They probably have the most used API related to AI right now, right? At least we could say for text completion, right? So maybe it's good to have them, but I mean, we just gotta. Who are the other players? I want to gather the council. I want to see everyone from every language, I want someone from Claude, someone from OpenAI, someone from everywhere. Some Chinese devs, and figure at least where are we arguing about these things, because there's going to be a war soon too between the open source and what's closed source, right? Like I could see a lot of companies saying, hey, the model, we're keeping that for ourselves. You can access through an API. We're not telling you what happens. And that's I think a lot of people are going to say, hey, I want to run my own models locally because I want to release that raw information there. And I think soon that those models will be so powerful, the government might raid your house and try and take them. But that's a story for another day. This is just my initial rant on some thoughts around language and frameworks in the future of this stuff. I don't know. I'll figure out some more stuff. I'm going to go code some Rust. I'll be back tomorrow for more rants about AI stuff. If you got any questions, you want to hear me talk about anything in particular, put a comment below. Thank you, guys.